What is going on, guys? Welcome to another YouTube video. Now today is November 25th. It's 12:36 midnight. I just got done updating and creating a very nice spreadsheet to kind of show you all the weapon updates that changed with the recent November 22nd update. I didn't even realize there was a weapon patch update because I was too busy playing Battlefield 6. But since there was a patch note update on November 24th, I didn't realize I missed the weapon update on November 21st. So let's talk about that today. Alright, welcome to another weapon patch update where I open up Google Chrome and I get the Call of Duty article that talks about the patch notes and just read you every single word on the article and call it content. Yeah, no, this is not what we do in this channel. I am a nerd in Call of Duty and also Battlefield 6. I'm really liking Battlefield 6, but this is a Call of Duty video. I have taken all the weapon changes that happened for the 21st update and put them in a spreadsheet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link that spreadsheet down below in the YouTube description. That is going to be free. Just click on it. It's going to give you a more simplified overview of all the weapons that have been nerfed and have been buffed, numerical changes on what specifically changed, whether it be ADS speed, sprint to fire speed, damage range, damage values, yada yada yada. Feel free to click on that so that you can get an easier, simplified, shorter explanation rather than watching the entire video of just me reading the article when you could just also read the article yourself. But what I did is I read the article, put that information into a Google spreadsheet for you guys to take a look at, okay? This is so funny. I feel like a little kid that's like showing off his artwork or like his homework to the audience. Anyways, guys, so this is the spreadsheet, okay? What I did is I categorized each weapon with the assault rifles, SMGs, shotguns, LMGs, marksman rifles, sniper rifles. I did shorten a lot of terms because it's a lot of terms that we need to know. Like HORZ is for horizontal recoil. This is basically the legend of all the longer words that I used to shorten. So instead of saying bullet velocity or typing out bullet velocity every single time, I just put for BV. So that's an example there. But if anything, this is how it's going to look, guys. So I basically set it up in these categories, guys. This is the weapon category, the weapon name, and the buff, and then nerf. This is the buff that specifically happened, and this is the numerical change with that buff. Same thing with the nerf. So for example, let's look at the AR M15, right? It received a buff. It was a medium damage range buff, and it went from 40 meters to 50.8 meters. And then I have it in this category of all the nerfs that happened with the M15. So for example, the medium damage value was nerfed from 24 points to 22. Sprint to fire increased from 230 to 250 milliseconds. Tactical sprint to fire increased from 340 to 360 milliseconds. You know where I'm getting at. So you're going to see all the changes that has happened with that recent November 21st update. So these are all the ARs first. Then we have the SMGs that have changed. Then we have shotguns, LMGs, marksmen, so on and so forth. So for this change, I can say that for any of the shotguns, I guess the shotguns are in a good place right now because there wasn't any nerfs or buffs or any remote changes that happened with the shotguns. Same thing with one of the marksman rifles, the M881 didn't need any changes. And then there was no changes on any of the sniper rifles also. So I'm guessing if there's no changes for those specific weapons, they just might be in a good place right now where they're not specifically overpowered, but they're not too weak of a weapon. I believe that when they don't make any changes for these weapons, it's viable enough for the weapon to what it needs to do in that specific circumstance as you're using the weapon. And if you are following along with the article, right, you'll notice that a lot of the SMG attachments were changed, such as the Vienna barrel, the Greaves barrel, skeleton grip, bounty grip, and even the EMT3 laser. A lot of the changes were buffs though. If you look, damage range increased from 23% to 32%, first shot recoil reduced from 60 to 63%. So, you know, they said in the article that the SMGs needed a little bit more love, which I kind of agree. In my previous video, I talked about how the recoil kick for the SMGs were definitely a bit more different than the previous titles, and I guess we were correct, or maybe it was a bug, or maybe enough people complained about it where Activision had to change it. Because for example, the Raiden had to get a gun kick deviation decrease. That means it was deviating too much with the recoil. It needed to be reduced, even the kick strength. So I guess people were having a hard time controlling the recoil when they're trying to hip fire with it, which is honestly a skill issue. I'm just going to say it right now. So I guess to summarize this update, and like I said, this is not to specifically talk about all the weapon changes. If you want to see them, go to the Google sheet, read it through. I promise I tried to simplify it and make it as easy to read as possible. If it's not, let me know in the comments below. But to summarize kind of like the major weapon changes is the AR categories did receive a big nerf. It was performing way too well, where even myself, I found myself using the AR for both medium, long, and close ranges. The SMGs just weren't performing performing up to what I want, and I just found more success in my gunfights using the ARs. And the SMGs did receive a lot of love. There was no nerf whatsoever on the SMG side. They were all buffs, including the attachments that were for the SMGs. I did not see any nerfs for those specific attachments. And also 2 of the marksman rifles did receive a weird nerf as well. The arm multiplier was removed for the Warden, so that's very interesting. The Artemis barrel attachments that would give an arm multiplier improvement was also removed. And though it may be a nerf, I think the whole received flinch increase from 0.5 to 0.55 for both the Warden and the M34 makes sense. I mean, the marksmans, they are supposed to be strong. They are supposed to have a fairly fast time to kill, but they're probably going to be an even faster time to kill if no shot or enemy is disrupting them while they're shooting. So to make it more of a challenging weapon to use and requiring more skill to use, they added that increased flinch. But yeah, that's the gist of it, guys. That was the main part of the video. I just wanted to show you that there was a Google sheet that I made that's going to be available to the public that you guys can look. That way, if you don't have time to read through every single segment of that article, because sometimes the patch notes can get a little too wordy, I simplified that for you so you can just look at the exact numerical changes that happen with these weapon patch updates, okay? But if anything, if you did enjoy the video, please drop a like on it if it gave you any value whatsoever. And if you enjoy the content overall, drop a sub to the channel. We'd love to see you here for another video, okay? But as always, stay pure, stay noble, and hashtag bring back honest gaming. Later, guys.